Update, brought to you by Simcox Advocates, advising businesses and families since 1949. Visit simcox.com or call 690 300. Manx Radio's Update with Andy Wint.
Pastor Mai, good evening. It's 5:30. This is Update for Monday, 17th of July, 2023 from Manx Radio. 30 minutes to look at the latest news on the Isle of Man. Background to that news and sport, business and Sea Watch and travel updates. And the newsmakers in person this evening. There's been an aircraft incident at Bradda Head in Port Erin. Chris Thomas is no longer DOI Minister. When will the Nobles private patient units reopen? Work permits are seen as a barrier to relocation. And will the sex education curriculum report be ready for back to school?
Man Benham for all your business and legal needs.
First of all, at 29 minutes ahead of 6 o'clock, the Update News headlines. Faster My Dave Moore.
Faster My, a search and rescue operation's ongoing after a light aircraft crashed into cliffs at Bradda Head in Port Erin earlier today. Emergency services have been in the area since around 1:30 this afternoon. Meanwhile, the CAA's placed a 2-mile drone ban around the site. Ramsey Commissioners investigating comments made on social media by one of its elected members. The remarks, which have since been deleted, were made on a public Facebook page and prompted a number of complaints to the local authorities. Chris Thomas says his focus is on a smooth transition after being asked to step down from his role as Infrastructure Minister. Chief Minister Alfred Cannon announced the departure this morning, saying the department is in need of rapid reform. Alzheimer's experts are hoping a new drug could lead to the disease being treated in a similar way as diabetes or asthma. A trial has shown a reduction in cognitive decline of up to 35%. The UK says Russia ending a deal allowing the safe export of Ukrainian grain could lead to malnourishment in the millions. Turkey, which helped secure the Black Sea Grain Initiative last year, is holding talks to try and get it reinstated. And the National Crime Agency says people who pose a sexual threat to children are the biggest group of offenders in the UK. It estimates the number to be between 680,000 and 830,000 people. Those are the Update News headlines. The next bulletin is at 6.
Man Benham. Contact us by phone, video call, email or face-to-face. We're happy to connect with you. Manx Radio Weather with Manx Glass and Glazing.
Goromaya, thank you, Dave. From the Ronalds Way Met Office, no wind warning in operation for the North Irish Sea. State of sea is slight and dry and cloudy this evening on a light to moderate southwesterly, down to 13 degrees through the night. And for Jamaica, Tuesday, a wet start continuing on and off throughout much of the day, and a light southerly becoming a moderate to fresh southerly, up to 17 tomorrow. Overnight minimum 13 into Jacrine, mostly dry on Wednesday with sunny spells, top temperature 17 Celsius. Tides on the way out, low water 25 past 6, sunset 19 minutes to 10 tonight. The late high tide at 28 minutes before 1 a.m, sunrise 8 minutes past 5, and the morning low water at 8 minutes past 7.
Manx Glass and Glazing can supply and install single, double and triple glazing. Call 674 573 or visit the showroom on the Snugborough Trading Estate.
It's been confirmed by Belfast Coast Guard that an aircraft was involved in an incident at Bradda Head and Port Erin today. Data from Flight Radar 24, which tracks the movements of light and commercial aircraft, shows the Cessna Centurion in the area of Milner's Tower. Chanel Suku from Manx Radio is in Port Erin with the latest.
Emergency services have been on the scene near Bradda Head in Port Erin for most of this afternoon. Belfast Coast Guard has confirmed a plane was involved in the incident, which we now understand happened at around 1:30 p.m. This has been supported by data from Flight Trader 24, which shows a Cessna Centurion in the area of Milner's Tower at around that time. By 2 p.m, half an hour later, emergency services, including police, ambulance, and the Coast Guard were on scene. Now, up at the tower itself, more than a dozen rescue officers could be seen at Milner's Tower, while 2 vessels searched the water and a helicopter from Anglesey hovered around the scene of the incident. incident. People that I spoke to shortly after the crash described seeing the aircraft flying in the vicinity before hearing a loud bang and seeing black smoke, which slowly turned grey. Now, as I stand here overlooking Bradda Head, I can tell you that the helicopter has left the area. Some emergency vehicles remain, and a few personnel believed to be search and rescue officers can be seen up at the tower. Police haven't yet provided any update as to the activity which has taken place throughout the day. Reporting live from Port Erin, I'm Chanel Suku.
Infrastructure Minister Chris Thomas has been asked to step down from the role, with the Chief Minister saying the department's in need of rapid reform. Alfred Cannon MHK will assume responsibility as Minister from today. Man in Line callers on Manx Radio today had a mixed reaction to the news.
The Minister there now, Chris Thomas, has been literally sacked. And the civil service are still there. They're career people, and they're going to be coming out with a pension at the end of the day for a complete cock-up.
Chris Thomas has done a valiant job of defending the indefensible. But you can only defend the indefensible for so long. And I think the straw that may have broken the camel's back is the motion before Tynwald on the supplementary order paper for more money for the Liverpool ferry terminal.
I am a constituent of Chris Thomas, and I still support his manifesto, which is policy, and I support his ability that he's so far done within the DOI. The budget that the DOI has had to operate itself within has had successive cuts. And lo and behold, who was the Treasury Minister that has been overseeing these cuts has been Alf himself. So it seems to me to be peculiar that on the one hand he's saying that I need to take over this because these departments of DOI will still not have enough money, even if he's running the show. So I do think that there is more to this than meets the eye.
You're listening to the Isle of Man's quintessential daily news and current affairs roundup. Update on Manx Radio.
The Island Games came to a close last Friday, and the Isle of Man finished the Games in third with 20 gold, 16 silver and 26 bronze medals. A look at who won what. Here's William King.
9 of the gold medals came in the swimming pool. 3 were from Joel Watterson, whilst Peter Allen and Laura Kinley won 2 each. There were also 2 golds for the men's relay team. Manx swimmers won a further 4 silvers and 2 bronze medals in the Beau Sejour pool. There were 7 athletics gold medals for Team Isle of Man at the Games. 3 of them were won by Rachel Franklin, who also broke 2 Island Games records. She won her 3rd gold by winning the women's half marathon on Friday. In the same event, Corin Leeming won the men's race, and the Manx men took the team gold medal. The women's team took silver. Here's Rachel Franklin.
We're just super strong in half marathon. We're strong in the relays as well. It's just so nice to get a team medal as well. Because I'm a big part of a team player, so I love being part of a team as well.
The other athletics golds came from Joe Harris in javelin and Regan Corrin, who won the men's high jump on the first day of competition. There were a further 2 silvers and 5 bronzes for Team Isle of Man in athletics. In badminton, Jess Lee and Kim Clegg won gold in the women's doubles. Lee also won silver in the women's singles, and she and Matt Nicholson won bronze in the mixed doubles. And it was mixed doubles gold for Sean Drury and Anna Kirk in the tennis. Sarah Long and Karen Farragher won silver in the women's doubles, and Karen Farragher and Mark Chin got mixed doubles bronze. In shooting, the Isle of Man won gold in the Olympic trap team event, and there was a silver medal and 5 bronzes. There was also gold for Team Isle of Man in the women's mountain bike criterium team event. There were a further 2 cycling silver medals and 3 bronzes. Elsewhere at the Games, the Manx athletes won 6 medals in archery, 3 in triathlon, 1 in table tennis, and the women's football team secured bronze.
21 minutes before 6 on Manx Radio this Monday evening. This is Update. Is now the right time to reopen the Isle of Man's private patients unit. The facility closed for refurbishment in 2019. That was repurposed during the COVID pandemic to increase capacity at Nobles. Manx Care's Chief Exec Teresa Cope has given an update.
The time is now right for us to really embrace the private patient agenda. I think the board made the right decisions in the first 2 years to really get the NHS waiting lists under control, address some of the chronic staffing challenges, and we are certainly not out of the woods by any stretch of the imagination. But we know I think, have reached that point where there is a stabilisation amongst the nursing workforce. We have achieved some significant reductions in the waiting times, and we have got that good quality data underpinning our decision making. I would agree that the opportunity for further restoration and recovery activity is going to be incredibly limited. And therefore I would want some real clear options presenting to the board on private patients and which route we do go down, given there are probably a number of different opportunities. We know it's a very strong feature of our discussions with the medical workforce here, their willingness, their readiness, their desire. In fact, their contract gives them the absolute right to undertake private practice here, and obviously we do need to switch that back on safely, appropriately, well governed. But I do think we should push hard on this now, and potentially bring back some very detailed plans for the board to consider in September.
Sea Watch with the Isle of Man Steam Packet Company.
Leadership Ben McCree departed Heysham at 2 past. She'll be on the link span in the next 20 minutes or so in Douglas, departing this evening at 7:45, arriving in Heysham at 11:30. The overnight departures at 2:15, back to Douglas at 6 tomorrow morning. Manannan, the high-speed craft, left Douglas at 17 minutes past 3. She'll be in Liverpool about now. She's in the Mersey. Will be on the link span in the next quarter of an hour or so, departing at 7:15, back to Douglas at 10 tonight. Tomorrow's departures, by the way, there is a strong wind warning tomorrow morning for the North Irish Sea, state of sea slight to moderate. Manannan departs Douglas at 7 a.m. for Dublin, and Ben McCree leaves at 8:45 for Heysham.
Follow the Steam Packet on Twitter for the latest sailing information.
Work permits are still being perceived as a barrier for people looking to relocate to the Isle of Man, according to the Enterprise Minister, Tim Johnston MHK, who says in October Tynwald will be asked to approve a temporary removal of the work permit system.
This is about deactivating but not removing. If things change in the future, they can be brought back. But under current circumstances, it's felt it was appropriate. I mean, one of the criticisms we often get in government is about red tape and where we can look to reduce that, and this is certainly seen as something by businesses as a hindrance at this stage when they are having to go further afield. We are responding to quite a difficult situation as far as the economy is concerned, and the fact that there's more vacancies than there are people at the moment, and of course we're always looking for opportunities for local people to fill jobs, and there's a lot of work going on within the department separately, working with Desk on upskilling and the skills board to make sure that we're equipping our young people or people of all ages with the skills we need for jobs on the island. But the fact is we have around just over 200 people unemployed at the moment, and we've got probably 800-900 job vacancies. That's the reality of where we are at the moment. It's always quite an emotive subject when we talk about work permits. I think we have to remember that there were times in the past in our economy where it was very important that we did. There was high levels of unemployment. We are reacting to a very different situation at the moment, and I think this is relevant at the moment. But like I say, the legislation will still be in place. Where I'm disappointed is when some politicians talk about it's being removed completely, or it's not the case. And it's disappointing when people say that, because they know that it's not the case, that the legislation is staying, and if in the future the economic situations change, we will bring them back.
Manx Radio Business Briefing.
At 16 minutes before 6, in corporate news, gambling firm Entain fell after saying it had bought Angstrom Sports for £81 million plus contingent payments up to a maximum of £122 million. US-based Angstrom's a specialist provider of next-generation sports modelling, forecasting and data analytics analytics, and for a full daily market report, go to ramseycrookall.com. Russia has taken control of Danone and Carlsberg within its borders. In fact, it happened yesterday. The Russian subsidiaries of yogurt maker Danone and beer giant Carlsberg have been temporarily put under the management of the state under a new order signed by Vladimir Putin. Moscow introduced rules earlier this year allowing it to seize the assets of firms from unfriendly countries. This came after many companies halted business in Russia following its invasion of Ukraine. Danone and Carlsberg were in the process of selling their Russian operations, and Sunday's order places the shares of Danone Russia and Carlsberg-owned Baltika breweries under the control of the Russian property agency Rosi-Mustachestvo. The makers of Dove soap and Cornetto ice cream say this is why it continues to operate in Russia. Unilever confirmed its operations would be taken over by the Russian state if it abandoned them.
The Stock Market Report, brought to you by Ramsey Crookall.
UK and European stocks closed lower as a positive run faltered. US stocks stepped higher in muted action. Oil dropped more than 1%, and gold eased as the dollar ticked up. The numbers from Ramsey Crookall at the close in London. The FTSE 100 is down 0.4% at 7,406. The DAX in Frankfurt closed down 0.25% at 16,068. A short time ago in New York City, the Dow Jones Industrial up 0.25% at 34,588. The Nasdaq Tech Stocks Index is up 0.6% and more at 14,203, and the S&P 500 in Chicago up 0.3% at 4,519. In the exchange markets, the British pound sterling trading at $1 30.7 cents, €1 16.3 cents, and 23 South African rand 59.3 cents. In commodities, gold barely up 0.02% at $1,954 per troy ounce, and a barrel of Brent crude down 1.25% currently at $78.66.
You've got an investment plan?
Yeah, Mike set it up.
But don't you need loads of money to do that?
Not this one. It's called Shearwater from Ramsey Crookall, and you pay in monthly as little as £100. So it's like saving regularly, really helping us invest in the future. For a house, or the kids' education.
£100 a month? I could easily do that.
You should. The sooner you start, the better.
Invest in your future with as little as £100 a month. Shearwater from Ramsey Crookall, the island's investment specialist for 75 years. Call 717171 or visit ramseycrookall.com. Licensed and regulated by the Isle of Man Financial Services Authority.
And MHK says he'd be surprised if a report into the relationship and sex education curriculum is ready at the start of the next academic year. The advisory curriculum was suspended earlier this year following concerns from parents over the nature of the material being used. Jason Morehouse, the MHK from Arbury Castle, Town and Mooloo, will ask Education Minister Julie Edge for an update on progress in tomorrow's sitting of Tynwald.
There are huge question marks over where we are and why we're actually in this position. It does appear to be the case that the Education Department did set out what they wanted the investigators to look at, and there's a list of people who they wanted to be spoken to, and the investigators really focused on that, and that's really what the first report was focusing on in terms of what had happened on the drop-down day. I think in a way that's good, but it does also create limitations that the Education Department have actually come up with something that's quite prescriptive, quite limited in some respects, and it might have been done with the intention of getting this done quickly, but in a way it's stifling the experts and creating issues and slowing things down, which is an issue. I think the investigators have been as good as you can get in terms of the impression I've got from what was said at my interview, in terms of the impression I'm getting from other people who've been interviewed. But there's that issue that we're now almost 12 months since the first issue arose, and in terms of a clarity, we know closer in terms of how RSE will be taught going forward. There are still huge issues. The Minister recently suggested that RSE will be taught again within schools, and that is really, really important. Several teachers have raised concerns about some vital issues from the RSE curriculum that they're struggling to actually teach and make people aware of at the moment, and that needs to be kind of sorted out and moved forward.
Update brought to you by Simcox Advocates, advising businesses and families since 1949. Visit simcox.com or call 690 300. Manx Radio Sport.
Fast to my Rhiann Evans.
Fast to my good afternoon. In hockey, Sienna Dunn's England hockey team's under-18s Euros journey has come to an end. The England side had a slow start against semi-final rivals Belgium, going 2-0 down. However, an early goal in the second half gave the England side some hope. However, Belgium responded with a third goal. England played the whole of the final quarter without a goalkeeper but didn't manage to convert their chances. Out of the final, Dunn's side turned their sights to the bronze medal match, which was against Spain. And it was a tight battle, with England edging the first half but failing to convert on several chances. Spain came back strongly in the second half and won the bronze medal match by a single goal after scoring from a short corner. And the Island Games came to a close on Friday, with the Isle of Man finishing the Games in third place with 20 gold medals, 16 silver and 26 bronze. The Isle of Man is already looking ahead and setting its sights on hosting the 2029 Island Games, with Education Minister Julie Edge putting in a bid for them in Guernsey. She sang the praises of all the Manx athletes competing at the Guernsey Games during the closing ceremony.
Absolutely amazing, so many personal bests, and to take part in such an excellent... It was just very well organised, but our team have really outperformed. I think they've seen that themselves, but to inspire the next generation, and hopefully, having put the bid in for the Games whilst we were down in Guernsey, hopefully we'll have them on the island in 2029, so that gives them that opportunity to work towards that as well. But of course, Orkney in 2 years' time, but outstanding performances, great atmosphere, very, very friendly, and the team's coming back here now, and they deserve every applaud they get, so absolutely brilliant.
Manx Radio Travel, driven by Quayside Tyres and Service Centre.
Inbound at Ronaldsway, the EasyJet 5 o'clock from Liverpool's just about landing now. The 25 past 5 Loganair from Manchester came in 8 minutes late. The 5 to 8 Loganair from Liverpool showing on time, as is the 10 past 8 Loganair from London City, and the 25 to 9 EasyJet from London Gatwick. Outbound tonight from Ronaldsway, the 5:15 EasyJet to Bristol went out a quarter of an hour late. The 5:30 EasyJet to Liverpool is going to be leaving about 20 past 7. The 6 o'clock to Loganair to Liverpool showing on time. The 5 past 9 London Gatwick EasyJet is showing on time. On the roads, Gradwell Road in Onken closed between Harbour Road and Fairway Close for gas upgrades. Garth Road between the Tossaby Road and Foxdale Roads closed for bridge replacement. East Quay Peel closed between the House of Manannan and the road bridge for work on the road and pavements. Ballymena Road in Jerby's closed, got phase closures for water main replacement. Temporary lights on Victoria Road Douglas at the Falconcliff Terrace Junction for water main works. In Baldrine, Packhorse Lanes closed for resurfacing. There are temporary 24-hour lights in Laxey on the Coast Road between Laxey and Bulgham for overhead line work. And Port Cornay Road in Glenmoon is closed for emergency road repairs.
H&HMotorcycles.im for all your motorcycle requirements. Southgate Industrial Estate, opposite Quayside Tyres. Call 665646.
Manx secondary school students went face-to-face with the Isle of Man's frontline politicians in Tynwald this morning. For some of the MHKs, Junior Tynwald proved an uncomfortable experience. Here's John Moss.
The aim of Junior Tynwald is to mirror a sitting of an actual Tynwald, with students putting questions to sitting members, presided over by the President, Lawrence Skelly. Amongst those who faced the questions were Health Minister Laurie Hooper and standing in for her DEFA Minister, Dr Michelle Haywood. Mr Hooper was asked about Manx Care's performance by QE2's Lois Lilly.
Manx Care has about double the UK vacancy rate. So when are we expected to see our vacancy rate drop?
That's a really good question to ask. My understanding is the workforce programme that Manx Care have is multi-year, so it will take a number of years to bring ourselves up to where we need to be. We've heard talk already this morning in this Honourable Court around the concept of safe staffing. That is ultimately Manx Care's aim, is to make sure our substantive establishment within the organisation is safe.
Mr Hooper said that due to structural differences, it wasn't possible to directly compare the Manx service to the UK. Dr Hayward was challenged about the meat plant's input by Castle Russian's Eben Gelling.
I have reason to believe last week no beef was processed in the Isle of Man meat plant. However, I'm sure much was imported on the steam packet, and much of this would have been used in many government buildings. In relation to the import substitution, how much Manx produce is actually used in the likes of school meals and meals in the government cafeteria?
I think there have been well documented concerns about the meat plant, and I'm pleased to see that there are new management positions being appointed there, and hopefully that should see a change. There are lots of reasons why producers choose not to send animals to the meat plant, some of them choosing to export them off island, and it tends to be a bit of an ebb and flow about the different days on which animals are processed there. I am not sure on the figures for the how much Manx produce is used within the government, but I will undertake to find out that figure.
Update brought to you by Simcox Advocates.
The family of a bright musical talent are on a mission to see a public piano installed in Douglas in his memory. Cody Atzori died suddenly 2 years ago, aged just 17. Now his family hoping to see a piano installed at the sea terminal for everyone to enjoy. Martin Katz says it'd be great to see the project succeed.
It's a beautiful piano, which Teo here has decorated in memory of his brother, Cody. Cody loved to play the piano in public, and he also wanted to inspire others to do the same thing. He used to play the piano himself in Liverpool and other places in the UK where they're in public. And so Liz and the family had this wonderful idea of raising some money for Soundcheck Charity, which we had a Wim Hof event to do that. And with the funds for that, basically, we've acquired this piano, and Teo's made just a beautiful job of decorating it. And the idea is that the piano hopefully is going to end up in the sea terminal, so that the Manx public can enjoy it and play it and inspire each other. It's pretty much done. It just needs varnishing, basically. So we've been on to Stu Peters, who is one of the ministers for infrastructure. He thinks it's an absolutely fabulous idea, and he's speaking to his officers at the department at the moment, and we're looking forward to hearing back from him with good news, hopefully very soon. I mean, the whole object of our charity really is to inspire people to enjoy music and arts here on the island and take part in it, and particularly young people. So something like this actually is sort of square within exactly what it is that we want to be doing as a Soundcheck Charity. So we're absolutely delighted to be involved with it. And we're very, very thankful as well to Liz and the family for raising the money for us, so we can do this, but also other things, because they did raise quite a substantial sum for us, which was amazing.
That's it for Update Tonight, compiled from the resources of Manx Radio's news department. Thanks to newsreader Dave Moore, producer Rhiann Evans, and on-the-spot reporter Chanel Suku. Stick around. Phil Gorn's after 6 with Agenda. I'll be back tomorrow.
WINT